are you?
I'm 16.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 10th grade.
Okay. So, what do you believe is the biggest challenge facing schools, facing students in school and in the community?
So facing people my age?
Yes, students.
Well, that's a good question. I feel like the biggest challenge would be maybe, I feel like a lot of them come from different communities and backgrounds. They don't really know how to talk to each other.
So, what resources do you think schools or communities need to thrive, to be better?
Well, I feel like people need to be more understanding. Because especially in my community, there's a lot of ableist people. I don't know why. My teachers, the staff members.
Okay, because I need you to break down ableist. Like, so you feel like they possibly discriminate against children with mental and physical disabilities?
Yes.
How? Give me an example.
They'll blatantly disrespect kids that suffer from things like anxiety by doing things like, I have to think about it. I think one of my friends, told me that, you know how high schools have assembly? A lot of schools have assembly. They felt really overwhelmed and started having a mental breakdown in the middle of assembly, and one of the staff members were called, and instead of giving them a safe space, they started screaming at them to get up and stop crying.
Okay, so do you feel, have you ever experienced injustice or something bad happened to you in your school?
Yes.
What was that?
Well, there were multiple experiences that I've had. You need to be more specific.
Okay. Give me two. Just give me an example of two of them.
Well, I remember one was when I was a lot younger. I want to say in elementary school, I had this teacher who was my biggest bully. I barely remember anything about that school besides her. She would just pick on me for no reason. But the most recent one was a dress coding, actually, where I wore black sweatpants, I think they were, to my school. Not revealing at all. And I had to sit in a room for the entire 8 hours because they didn't want to give me a change of pants, which they had. They do have changes of pants and shirts. So I had to sit in there for the whole day, presumably without lunch. I snuck out and got my own lunch, but if I didn't, I would not have a lunch. Because of sweatpants, black sweatpants, yeah.
Do you have a security officer at your school?
No.
Have you had instances where you felt insecure at your school?
Yes.
What were they?
Well, I'm not gonna put anyone on blast, but I do feel like a lot of my teachers do not like plus size people, which is a part of the reason I did not get a change of wardrobe, but that's just what I think.
Okay, so if you had a magic wand and could put things in your school, could change staff, could put more resources, what would those resources and rules look like?
Well, I feel like I would get rid of a lot of the uniform policy, aside from, I'd say all outfits should be appropriate, obviously, but why, I just don't understand most of it. Like, we're not allowed to wear shirts with certain designs or jeans with modifications. also things like sweatpants. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. So the last question would be, do you have a relationship with your guidance counselor?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Has anybody started advising you on like colleges or career paths?
No.
Have they had a conversation with you about what grade you need and classes you need to take to go to college?
At the beginning of school.
But I mean,
Not
like,
privately, no.
have you? Nobody's talked to you about scholarships or anything?
No.
Is your school considered one of the worst schools in the city or the better schools?
I think my school's one of the better schools, unfortunately.
Well, is there anything else you want to add?
No, thank you.
Well, thank you for your interview and your time. I appreciate it.